Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV. My name is Nick Nightmare, and in this episode, we're going to talk about everything wrong with the WWE in 2025. Now, we can't really go over everything because then we'd be sitting here for about 2 weeks discussing all of the crap that the WWE creative has thrown our way. So we're going to just kind of whittle it down to what I think are the biggest missteps, the biggest things that they did wrong. And we are going to start with the most obvious, the easiest thing to pinpoint when you want to talk about big time missed opportunities, big time mistakes being made. You look no further than the man you can't see. The Unseen 17, the final year for John Cena. And man, did they shit the bed. Did they not? Wow, man. I'm not even a John Cena fan. I wasn't one of those long-time hustle, loyalty, respect, John Cena diehards that you might be one of, that you definitely know at least one person who is. But I can respect the man's achievements. I can respect his accomplishments, the entirety of his career, his longevity at the top. There is no disputing that John Cena might actually be the greatest of all time. He definitely is the last real champion. I believe that. I think that's a great line, and I think it's absolutely true, because nobody that has come since John Cena has that aura about them, has that legendary status, right? Like, sure, there's lots of legends, but there's not as many icons. So maybe that's a better word. It gets overused. It was extremely overused in the late 90s, but it might be true in this case. And what does the WWE do? What do they plan? The greatest superstar that they've ever produced comes to them and says, I'm hanging it up. I want to do a certain amount of dates and this and that. And they come back at him with, well, you don't have to do that many dates. We're going to go with 36 dates and we're going to make it really special. But then they really didn't. They had zero plan. They were just making moments, which is what WWE is all about. They're not a wrestling company anymore. They're a moment-making machine. They want to be trending on TikTok. They want to be number one on X. They want everybody watching the YouTube clips. They don't give a shit if you watch Monday Night Raw anymore. They don't give a shit if you watch SmackDown anymore. There's no caring. If they did, they would have really took the time to make John Cena's run special. I have heard so many people in the wrestling community, internet wrestling community or otherwise, come up with so many fantastic examples of some of the things that could have happened for Cena on his way out. Some of the things that they should have planned for. One of the biggest things that everybody's talking about, since probably it's most recent in everybody's minds, is why didn't John Cena go out at a WrestleMania? Why didn't you plan it out so that maybe he goes out at a big PLE, Survivor Series, SummerSlam? Something that would garner the respect and the attendance that the guy deserves to have at his final match. And I'm not taking anything away from Washington and the crowd there in DC. It was a fantastic crowd. All right, but that should have been a stadium show to say goodbye to somebody so beloved. It just seems to make more sense when you look at it. And then if you want to just go with the baseline of the creative that he has had, you could say it started off well. We had some good matchups, but then they did that fucking heel turn. We all thought it was going to be great when it happened, right? But we all, in retrospect, end up really hating it, because there was no follow-up to it. They had an idea, they threw the stuff out there, and then The Rock decides, we're not really going to go that route anymore, so let these guys just go be John Cena and Cody Rhodes and let them do their thing. I don't want to take any of the attention away from them. Yeah, right. I don't know what happened there or how it blew up, nor do I care. All I know is that what it ended up doing was screwing John Cena out of a couple of months and screwing the fans that he had to see in that heel run. In whatever states and cities that he was throughout there, they all got ripped off to say goodbye to their hero, John Cena. John Cena had to turn around and be an asshole to all these fans, and it just wasn't coming off right. Even as it was going down, I liked a lot of the stuff that he was saying. It was a little bit generic for a heel turn. Oh, the fans, you guys did this to me. I gave you my everything, and then you give me nothing. And then it took all these weird turns and twists, and then they got the Travis Scott and all that shit, and then it just all fucking imploded, and it was all for nothing, and at the end, all it did was screw John Cena and screw the fans. And then they didn't know what to do again. So we end up having the Last Time Is Now tournament. Great idea! Maybe a little bit too late. Maybe the field of competitors that were chosen for this tournament was lacking. Maybe I shouldn't say maybe, because it definitely was. It's not what I expected to see. There were a couple of nice little surprises. It was nice to see Dolph Ziggler. It was nice to see Zack Ryder. All of that coming in as a result of the TNA partnership. I just, as much as I don't mind him losing to Gunther, I just feel like there was a better way. Maybe he should have handed the towel to somebody who was at least playing on the same team, right? Because now we got nobody to cheer for. We got somebody to boo. Right? Everybody's going to boo the shit out of Gunther. But Cody Rhodes isn't really that guy right now. He's still very popular. He's still very over. The kids love him and all that. But he's got that little undercurrent of fans that are like, this is getting boring and we want to see something else. And then they have it right there. They have an LA Knight right there. Yeah. And they refuse to acknowledge him in this year. Maybe that's because 2026 is going to be his year. Maybe it's not. And maybe the WWE continues their tradition of having megastars that are over with the crowd that everybody wants to see, but they're not going to push because they didn't do it their way. Maybe LA Knight got over just a little bit too organically. He didn't do it according to the plans that was set forth. Is that what it is? Are we going back to the days like Daniel Bryan is another prime example? Guy got over in spite of the crowd. Zack Ryder got over, I'm sorry, not the crowd, in spite of the company. Daniel Bryan, Zack Ryder, Dolph Ziggler, Damian Sandow, many others who the crowd gravitated to, who the crowd wanted to see succeed. And then the WWE was like, nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. With Daniel Bryan, famously, they had no choice but to change their mind because the fans revolted, causing the Yes Movement, which is one of the greatest moments throughout the history of professional wrestling, not just the WWE. You don't see that every day. The way it played out was fantastic. I know it was never planned that way. Sometimes that's how great things happen. Spontaneous, in the moment. John Cena's heel turn, the whole retirement booking was really lacking in all of this stuff. Tapping out in his final match. I'm not having a conniption about it. I'm not even all that angry about it. This is the story that John wanted to tell. Let him fucking tell it the way he wants to tell it. Who am I to say the ending he chose is wrong or not? Whether it is or it isn't, that's up to you to decide in your own mind, for your own context, in your own little bubble. How do you feel about it? Let me know in the comments. I can tell you how I feel. Feel like the tap out was wrong. Feel like that part was wrong. We talked about this in the review of Saturday night's main event and John Cena's final match. But I think it would have been okay for Cena to pass out, lose the match, give Gunther the rub, and not have to turn on his standards. Not have to go back on his word. Not have to give up. What do you think is stronger? If John Cena taps out smiling, complacent to face his end, or Gunther hooking in that sleeper so hard that he didn't even have the strength to pass out. What's more impressive? Oh, I made John Cena give up? Or I beat John Cena's ass so bad he couldn't even give up. He was passed out unconscious. That's something more that the heel could dig into. Not just, oh, I made Cena tap out like a bitch. Okay, great. Great. Where do you go from here? I think people would be more impressed and people would be more fearful of Gunther coming at them in the future if he nearly suffocated John Cena to death. Much more impactful. Much better for the storylines going forward. Because now you're just going to hear him, as he did this past Monday on Raw, just continuously go, I made John Cena give up. It's not even about tapping out. It's because he never gives up. So I made John Cena give up. How many times are we going to hear that shit? I would have much rather it been the other way. But again, John Cena has said he hasn't been able to dictate his final run for the most part. He hasn't picked his opponents. They keep coming at him with stuff, and then he does the stuff. But in this moment, he's claiming that he had complete and total control, which I absolutely believe, and this is what he wanted to do. This was the story he was telling, and we have to accept it and move on, no matter how wrong you might feel it is. Would it have been better for John Cena to win his final match and defeat Gunther? No. But if they wanted John Cena to win his final match, all they had to do was book him against somebody that can afford to lose. Have his final match be against CM Punk instead of having it a few months back for no apparent reason. Have his final match be against Randy Orton instead of having it at the beginning of the retirement tour. Randy Orton could have lost to John Cena and went home the next day and been fucking Randy Orton again. And he would come back to Raw and everybody would still be screaming, I hear voices, it's fucking Randy. Great, great. Nobody would have gave a shit. Or even if you had a fucking legend come back and take. There's not many left because they're all fucking dropping like flies. So I don't even know who you could have come in. When you look at the people that were at ringside that night, like Haku is too old, Kurt Angle's too hurt, RVD looks banged up. Like, who are you gonna really? You only have those two real great choices. Oh, you could have did the AJ match. That would have been. Oh, look at that! Boom! Look how did you see the light bulb go off? AJ Styles versus John Cena in his last match ever. Cena could have beat AJ Styles. They would have put each other over in the match the way they did, right? We would have got this probably the same match that we got between them. It would have been the conclusion of John Cena's career. Cena could have beat AJ, and then AJ could have kept on being phenomenal the very next day. And now that he lost to John Cena in his final match, he's thinking he's lost a step. He's thinking maybe it's time that I go. If I can't even beat John Cena on his way out, maybe it's my time to go next. How am I going to compete with these young kids if I can't even beat a retiring legend? There's a whole nother story beat for you guys. How much better would that been? How much better would that been? Ah! God damn, I'm good sometimes. But hey, listen, that's not what we got. It's not what we got. And now this is somewhat so far become a what's wrong with the John Cena final tour thing, but that's the biggest, most prominent thing, like I said, that the WWE did this year. You could continue on to the WrestleMania 41 situation. The whole bullshit, as we mentioned, with Travis Scott coming out, The Rock not showing up, the whole bullshit ending to a very lackluster pay-per-view as it was. Terrible. Terrible. But those are all creative decisions, and those are all pertaining to just one superstar. Imagine, that was all about John Cena. What about a guy like Jey Uso? Jey Uso, who started the year hot as hell. Red hot. Everybody yeeting from the roof to the rafters to the front row. Fantastic. Great stuff. Did he need to win the Royal Rumble? I don't think so. One of the worst booking decisions of this year when you consider all of the other people in that. Oh my God. And everything that came after. I mean, I guess you could make the case that Jey Uso needed to win the Royal Rumble to get his title shot against Gunther. And then he would go on and end up submitting Gunther. Like, the whole thing, everything about it was just, man. I'm not against the Usos. I've been a fan of the Usos for decades. But this was bad. In retrospect, looking back at it, it's all bad. The run it back with the yeet thing. Is that why SmackDown needs to go to 3 hours? Because we're going to move Jey Uso to SmackDown so you can run it back fucking 90 times? That's something they don't have to keep doing. They should kill that shit. Do it at untelevised events. But I don't think there are any more untelevised events. My, how wrestling has changed. Just like the women's division. How much has that changed over the years? Actually, the more it changes, the more it stays exactly the same. We have two fantastic world champions for the women's division. For two completely different reasons. At least for me. Stephanie Vaquer, great. Super professional wrestler. Beautiful. She's got the look. She's got the music. She's got the title. Doing her thing. Great in the ring. Fantastic. Jade Cargill. Washboard stomach. Looking like Storm. Looks like a champion. Yeah. It's capable. But do you know what Jade Cargill's real problem is? She has no fucking competition. None. She won the Women's Championship on SmackDown and went immediately to mid-card hell because there's nobody for her to fight except a Chelsea Green or a Michin or a what the hell even is her name? B-Fab or whatever it is. Nobody cares about any of this. It's doing more harm than good. There are no females on SmackDown outside of Julia that are really worth watching. honest criticism here. I've been saying this for years, and I'm going to continue to say it because I believe this is the one way to fix everything, which is you don't have to take apart the brand split. You can still have a soft brand split, but you need to merge the women's division and you need to merge the tag divisions respectively from both shows. Anybody can fight on any show at any time if you're a girl or if you're a tag team. That should be the rule because the division shouldn't be exclusive. There should be one tag team champion, one set of tag team champions, and one women's champion. And then you have an undercard women's champion, a United States. You could even do both of them. Fuck it. Do the United States Intercontinental and then the Women's World Championship. You don't need two champions. You want to do that for the men? Fine. It doesn't mean it has to be done that same way for the women. Especially when you don't have enough girls. All you need to do is let all the girls be in one division. And have that division spread across all shows. You could even throw NXT in there and then the fucking cookie jar is wide open. You could mix and match and make any fucking combinations you want. Put together dream matches and all kinds of shit. You don't need to make them have brand loyalty. You guys need to have loyalty to them and book them correctly. And the same goes for the tag division. A division that used to be the stepping stone to superstardom, where you would always have a tag team. And either one of those guys are going to shine on their own and shoot to the moon and become a future world champion, or both of them will be on equal levels by the time it goes and they split and have two respective careers, and all you have is superstars after the fact. And then you have this great history and you have this great deep lore to the tag team division, which is how it used to be. But now it's just all fucked up. Nobody cares about the tag team division. How many times does a tag team win the tag team belts and then does nothing with them for like 6 weeks? They'll start wrestling singles matches against other fucking random tag teams that we're just going to throw together that are a tag team now because we don't know what to do. They're only now starting to put some shit together. And what did they have to do? What did they have to do to get any sort of interest into the tag division? They had to bring back a rivalry from 15 years ago. Because that's all they are now. Again, moment-making machine. Nostalgia. Nostalgia bait. Remember that? Remember berries. Oh, remember? You remember the New Day? I remember. But now you got the new Good Day with Grayson Waller out there. It's not even the same New Day. Just not the same without Big E around. It's just not. And then you got these new old Usos. Older Usos. I don't mean old as in that, but you know what I mean. And we've already got the first match in the series. God knows how many times we're going to see it. We know we've already seen it 27 times back in 2015. And that was just for 1 month. It's terrible. How can you have Penta and Rey Fenix on your roster? You don't know what to fucking do with either one of them. So put them together. All you did have fucking Penta losing all year long. Here's more mistakes, more things wrong. You bring in guys like Penta, you bring in guys like Rey Fenix, you bring in all this great talent, and they do nothing. They come in just to fucking lose to the Judgment Day. To the fucking Judgment Day? And then Penta's finally getting some momentum. They're finally giving him a couple of wins, and now he goes and gets fucking hurt. And then there's all of the terrible finishes that have happened this year. I think there's been like 6... I was going to say it. No, not here. No, not here. I think there's possibly been up to 8 botches made by the referees finishing matches this year, causing matches to have results that were not planned. Most famously and most recently, what happened to Blake and that psycho Thea Hale on NXT. Thea Hale, the psycho monkey that she is, pounced on Blake so hard that she winded her to the point where I guess she wasn't able to keep track of the count and she didn't get her shoulder off the mat. And now Thea Hale, because of her carelessness in delivering a move, ends up being crowned the NXT North American Women's Champion. And man, what a mistake. It was nowhere near as bad as the one in the triple threat on SmackDown. But we had a major title change here. So it immediately makes it worse. But you can't excuse anything in these situations. And you can't shit on the ref, because the referee is doing what he's supposed to do. How many times have you watched a match and a referee has went down for the count 1, 2, and then stopped his hand, even though you as the viewer seen that the person did not kick out in time? But he knows that's not supposed to be the finish. And that makes him and everybody else look stupid. Outside of the referees and the multiple finishes that went wrong this year, you have multiple spots that have gone wrong this year in very high-profile matches. AJ Styles botching on a phenomenal forearm. You had a terrible encounter between Jey Uso and the worst pro wrestler on the roster, Logan Paul. I don't care how much he's improved, how much everybody wants to suck his knob. I'm never, ever going to be on Logan Paul's side. It's just not going to happen. It's just something I can't do. I'm sorry. Just a personal thing. That's on me. I'm not going to do it. Throughout the year, too many interferences. The creative was very, very repetitive. Masked attackers. People attacking others with absolutely no clear motivation. Start-stop pushes for multiple superstars. 1 minute Solo's hot, then he's not. Then Jacob's the man, then he's not. Then LA Knight's the flavor of the month, and then he's not. And all the while we have to keep yeeting, though. Not making any room for anybody else at the top. Everything's just been so bland, so boring, and maybe more even unforgivable than that, inconsistent. There is almost no continuity with this show. Because from one week to the next, everything's going to change. It kind of almost feels like we're back in the days of Vince. Without question, this is Triple H's worst creative year since taking the reins of this company. Production errors, Cena heel turn, WrestleMania 41. How about everything that happened with WrestleMania? WrestleMania being announced for New Orleans and then being moved back to Las Vegas for the second consecutive year. For what reason? Oh, money. Money, that's why. Financial reasons. Which brings me to the biggest thing wrong with the WWE in 2025 and going forward is their greed. Oh, their greed is going to be their downfall. Remember when you were a kid and you used to just have to put on Channel 5 or whatever the local station was in your neighborhood. You didn't have to have cable. All you had to have was a TV and electric. You needed to have electricity to plug in your TV and turn it on, and every Saturday after the cartoons was over, you'd watch some pro wrestling. Absolutely free. And then they do it again on Sunday. There was Superstars on Sunday. Don't forget that. It was somewhere in the early morning lineup. And there it was. Boom. Superstars. Free. Then you had cable. You had to pay for a cable subscription. But then you had Monday Night Raw. You had ESPN. You had AWA wrestling on there. Way back in the day. I remember watching it. And then it just kept growing and growing and growing, and TV was the thing, man. But now TV's not the thing anymore. TV is just a monitor, right? Your literal TV in your living room, it's just a giant computer screen. It's not even a TV anymore. There's no antenna connected to it. You can't turn it on and just go to a channel. It's a fucking computer monitor. And to watch anything, you have to pay through the fucking nose. You either have to pay too much for a cable subscription, or you have to pay for a streaming service, or multiple streaming services now. Because the WWE doesn't care about your money. They don't care about your pocket anymore. Especially since the corporate takeover of TKO. If you thought Vince was bad, holy shit. You want to talk about corporate. At least, say what you will about Vince, it's a whole nother topic for another day, but back in the day, when he was running shit, he always made sure that there were tickets that were going to be affordable, at least in a particular section of the building. That doesn't mean he didn't charge money to make money for those good premium seats, but he always made sure that there was a section where you could get a seat for $25. Tickets starting at $20. And those ones sold out fast, but if you wanted to get them, you could get them. Everything is out of control. Ticket prices are out of control. Merchandise is higher than ever. And yet they're getting sponsors and commercials and revenue from all of that. The mat covered full of stickers just for the hell of it. Like the ring is not sacred. They're selling everything from turnbuckle space to ring posts to the banners to the sidewall. It's getting out of hand. And I understand it's a business, but at some point it's like, how much money do you need? You're getting money from them, you're getting money from them, you're getting money from Netflix, you're getting money from this place. Now you're bleeding the customers dry on top of all of it and boxing out some of the real true fans. And you're letting in all these celebrities, these quasi-celebrities, especially since the Netflix partnership. Some of these people I've never heard of in my life, because if you didn't watch this stupid little Netflix show, you don't know who the hell they are. But they got to take up a good 3 minutes on Raw to stand up and wave and show, hey, everybody, look, here's Phil Dickhead from the show Shut the Fuck Up. Sit the hell down and get out of my show. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's annoying as a fan. It's like aggravating to my eyes when I see all of these things. Like, it's just, we're not boxing, you're not NASCAR, and you don't have to be. You're pro wrestling. You make money off of merchandise. You make money off of t-shirts. You make money off of toys. You're not doing soundtracks or any of the cool shit that you used to do anymore. Back in the day, you're not doing biographies and documentaries and all these physical media releases that used to make you guys tons of money. I know it made you money because they were always almost impossible to find. You would go shopping and trying to find that CM Punk DVD, man, it would be fucking sold out. Like, these were the golden days, man, and why it's not the standard anymore, I don't know. It's kind of silly that it's not, but everything for wrestling has just gone downhill. It's gone awry, and it's gone out of control. The creative is getting ridiculously bad. The prices and everything are ridiculously bad. The amount of commercials we have to watch are increasing and are ridiculously bad. There's just no end. No end. And do you want to be one of those people that just put all the blame on Triple H? You can be that person. You could sit here and scream his name and be all pissed off and blame him for this and blame him for that. And you're probably justified and you might be partially right. But he's only one fucking piece of the machine, man. He's one cog in a big-ass wheel. And none of the other cogs give even half as much of a shit as he does. That doesn't mean he's right. I'm not defending him or whatever. I'm just trying to say that the company has lost its way. It's not what it used to be because the people in charge are not even wrestling people anymore. Until you get down to the creative aspect. But for the most part, like TKO and Nick Khan and all of those guys, they don't give a shit about wrestling. They don't. They say they do. They'll say all the things that sound good in the press. They'll say all the things that you want to hear on paper, and then they'll just turn around and go laugh all the way to the bank because it doesn't matter. 2 nights for pay-per-views, it's too much. For once a year, fine. For every PLE, no, man. No. For SummerSlam and for WrestleMania, no. If you want to do it for WrestleMania, fine. You want to copy New Japan and pretend that you're Wrestle Kingdom and do the 2-night weekend-long event once a year, that's forgivable. Doing it all, making it the standard, doing it more than once, it's silly. It's stupid. It's unnecessary, and it takes away from the feeling of WrestleMania being special. Another thing wrong in 2025, nothing feels special anymore. Everything is just so formulaic, so sanitized, so corporate. Everything has gone wrong this year. And I hope that something rights the ship in 2026. We got some stuff possibly to look forward to. We got an incoming return of a legend. A future Hall of Famer for sure, surefire first ballot Hall of Famer Chris Jericho supposedly coming back to the WWE within the next couple of weeks. Maybe at the Royal Rumble, maybe before. What the hell is he going to do that could be interesting? You know, he's going to have some stroke, and some of his, creative ideas are sometimes fucking amazing, and sometimes they're complete dog shit. So I don't know how it's going to play out. He could be the Messiah, or he could be the Meshuggah. Who cares? At this point, I'm just excited that something is going to happen, right? Something's going to happen that's going to be worth tuning in, because otherwise, we're tuning in to see a masked man that changes form every week and then reveals himself to be the very person we all thought he was in the fucking beginning because it got leaked on the goddamn internet. That was Austin Theory in the mask. That's the kind of shit we're going to keep getting. So you have to have hope that a returning Chris Jericho is going to shake things up just enough to get us through just one more year. I thought that was going to be John Cena this year. It's like, well, they got Cena's retirement tour. This year should be fucking great. And it did have a couple of really good moments. We'll talk about that maybe in another video. But just to be nice, I'll tell you 2 of my favorite John Cena moments of the year. AJ Styles. That match with AJ Styles was fantastic. And I liked the match with Cody. I'll give you a third. I loved the very end with Dominic Mysterio. The whole back and forth with the IC title. I just thought that was great. I really, really enjoyed that last little part of the run. And then, his match with Gunther was what it was. It is what it is. And what happened, and we can't change that. We definitely can. 2026. What do you think's going to happen? What do you want to see happen to the WWE in 2026? Do you want there to be a change in the creative regime? I think a lot of people do. I don't think that's going to fix anything. Because if anybody comes to take over who's there now, it's probably going to be just some millennial half-woke retards that just are going to ruin things even worse. So be careful what you wish for, on top of all those things. I may do one more video before the year is out, but we're a couple of days away from Christmas, obviously. We're at the end of 2025. We're about to say goodbye and welcome in a new year, new opportunities. Hopefully a better year than this year for all of you, for me, and for wrestling. Hope is all we have for the new year. Because this year, oof, talk about dog shit. We had to see the rise of fucking Logan Paul. You seen Seth Rollins fake an injury and then karma kicked him in the balls. Seen a lot of stuff. Not a lot of good stuff. Some good stuff. Not enough to keep me from making this video to say that everything in the WWE is just really wrong right now. At least it feels that way to me. How does it feel to you? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to leave a comment, hit that like button, share it, do all the YouTube things. Hopefully your view counts. If you've stuck around this long, 45 minutes of me ranting and raving about practically nothing and just mumbo jumbo about pro wrestling, then you are friggin' awesome, and I love you so much for it. And you're always welcome here at Sledgehammer TV. My name is Nick Nightmare. This has been the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show here on Sledgehammer TV, only on YouTube. And I will see you next time. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I hope you all have a great one.